Shalom, Thawada, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakai Kwadash, for giving us the understanding of the Holy Bible through their men, that being the apostles and bishops of Grey Millstone, who are worthy of double honors, and Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakai Kwadash, Brakatham, to the elect of Israel. So, one of the beloved brothers out there in the UK sent me this article from abcnews.com that I want to cover. And as you see here in the headline, it says Idaho Governor signs firing squad execution bill into law. Now, the reason why this article is of significance and importance is because it conveys not only the violent nature of Esau, Edom, all right, the so-called white man, but also it shows us how, he's getting ready to truly bring back certain draconian methods of execution. And it was just the other month, where we had Donald Trump speaking about how if he comes back into presidency, he's going to bring back the same thing, firing squads and also beheadings by way of the guillotine, which all aligns with Bible prophecy, especially the guillotines. We know that according to the book of Revelation 20 and verse 4. Okay, and these are things that we have to prepare our minds for, because indeed, let's not forget, we're entering into some very detrimental times, i.e. the time of Jacob's trouble, pursuant to Jeremiah 30 and verse 7, Daniel 12 and verse 1, even Revelation 12 and verse 12, and although this governor is signing in this law for people that's on death row, well, we're not to be ignorant, okay? Just as the Apostle Paul said in 2 Corinthians 2 and verse 11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And, when you go to that word devices in the Greek, you find the Greek word naima, which means an evil plot or an evil purpose. And we understand that Esau's ultimate plot and his ultimate purpose is to bring about his new world order, his great reset, okay, his fourth industrial revolution, and ultimately his plan is to enslave the masses of people by way of that microchip implant pursuant to Revelation 13 and 16, which is the mark of the beast, okay? And he's going to do that by any means necessary. And we have scriptures like Revelation 12 and verse 12 that give us, an understanding of the time that we're coming into, and the nature that this Edomite is going to come in, which is a very violent nature. Anyway, this is Revelation 12 and verse 12. It says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe, which the word woe represents misery and destruction, to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. Of course, that being the people of the earth, all right? The various different nations, especially over here in America. And that's what's coming, man. Great misery and destruction, especially to America. Babylon the Great. It says, for the devil being this so-called white man, Esau, Edom, beginning with their wicked elite, their central banking families, beginning with the Rothschild family that control this world as a shadow government, and they set up these different puppet leaders to bring about their will on the earth. Anyway, it says, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath. Why? Because he knoweth that he have but a short time. Yeah. The so-called white man, the wicked elite, the Edomites, they know that their time is running out, especially the wicked elite, right? Their time is running out concerning ruling this world, okay? Governing the people of this world. And we know that according to scriptures like Matthew 24 and verse 3, concerning the signs that our Lord Yahweh Shai left us concerning the end of Esau's age, the end of his world, in the sense of the Greek word eon. The Lord left us signs to look out for concerning his demise, the end of his world. And that's why we're hearing of wars and rumors of wars. And we're approaching World War III, which is going to be the downfall of Esau's kingdom ultimately. That's why we're seeing multiple sightings of what people out there call UFOs, which are the chariots of our Lord, the spiritual vehicles of our Lord. Oh, and that's why this gospel is being preached throughout the world. Okay? And just as the Lord said, then the end shall come. Whose end? Esau's end, man. Taking us to 2nd Ezra 6 and verse 9. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Jacob, of course, representing us so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, the Israelites, because we're going to rule next with our Lord. The elite, they know that their time is running short. They're pretty much living on borrowed time. And how do they know that? Well, they see the signs like we see the signs, concerning our Lord returning, concerning World War III. I mean, hell, concerning the elect of Israel being risen up, right? The men of the Lord that's being risen up by Yahweh Bashmal Shai. And that's why when you go to Revelation 11 and verse 11, you read about how the elect of Israel, of course, starting with the 144,000, they stood upon their feet, representing us, coming back to this truth, waking up, going out there on the highways and byways, and great fear fell upon them that saw them. So, these devils, again, beginning with the wicked elite of Esau, Edom, they know that their time is running out concerning their rulership, and especially concerning them trying to bring about their new world order. So they're going to come with great wrath, great violence. Okay. And again, what we're seeing here in the headlines concerning, them signing into law certain old school execution methods as capital punishment is, it's very telling. And, well, as the Lord said through Habakkuk, at the end it shall speak and not lie. Okay, the vision, especially the visions of our forefathers, the prophets, especially the Apostle John on the Isle of Patmos. He saw the draconian nature of the so-called white man, especially over here in America. And that's pretty much what we're seeing here, And I'm alluding to Revelation 13 and verse 11. Maybe I'll get that next. Anyway, let's read a little bit from this article. It says, Republican Governor Brad Little signed a bill allowing execution by firing squad, making Idaho the latest state to turn to older methods of capital punishment amid a nationwide shortage of lethal injection drugs. Now, again, when you read further into this article, this is mainly concerning people that's on death row. But, again, just as the Apostle Paul said, we're not ignorant of Esau's devices or his plans. There's a reason why he's bringing and signing into law, certain execution methods. And why is that? Because he's getting ready to establish his new world order. Okay. And anyone that doesn't obey or bow down to his new world order is going to feel, the wrath of his new world order. Okay. Which is going to come in a very draconian-like manner. Hence, what the Apostle John saw when we go to Revelation 13, and we'll go to verse 11. It says, And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Now, this second beast, if you will, that the Apostle John is seeing here in his vision is mainly concerning America, aka Mystery Babylon the Great. And again, this beast is symbolic for America, and the two horns that he's seeing here is pretty much referring to Esau's dual political party, okay, his right wing and the left wing, or the Democrats and the Republicans, or if you're out there in the UK, you've got the Conservatives and the Labour Party. And in the ancient world, in the ancient Greco-Roman Empire, you had the plebeians and the patricians. Okay, so that system, that political system, is back, if you will. Okay, it says two horns like a lamb being symbolic for the nature of Esau's government. A lamb is docile, a lamb is harmless. And that's pretty much the spirit that Esau comes in, all right, concerning his government, but it's a facade. It says, and he spake as a dragon. And that's going into Esau's draconian-like legislation, i.e. what we're seeing here in the news or in the headline. Idaho Governor signs firing squad execution bill into law. And again, just the other month, February 14, you had Donald Trump talking about how he was going to bring back firing squads and also beheadings, okay, guillotines, which again aligns with Bible prophecy pursuant to Revelation 20 and verse 4. Now, I'm not conjuring up the idea of, brothers and sisters that's of the household of faith, those of us that's of the hopeful elect of Israel, facing the firing squad. Although anything is possible, let's just put that out there. But nonetheless, for the most part, those of us that's serving Yahweh Bashmel Shai, to the best of our ability, we're hoping that we'll be delivered from this so-called white man, from the clutches of this man, as it's written in Isaiah 54 and verse 17. The Lord said, no weapon that's formed against thee shall prosper. And you've also got scriptures like Psalms 34 and verse 7. The angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him. So again, I'm not, putting out the idea of brothers and sisters facing the firing squad by any means. Nonetheless, what I do want to convey is the spirit that Esau is coming in, okay? And he's coming in that draconian-like spirit. And things are going to get very real in the very near future. And certainly for a lot of us that's within this faith, okay? Because persecution is coming. And again, we have to prepare our minds, just as the Apostle Peter said. I believe that's 1 Peter 4 and verse 1 on down. Roughly paraphrasing, the Apostle Peter said, arm yourselves likewise with the mind of Yahweh Shai. Okay, so that's what we have to do. And when we see headlines like this, we just have to take into consideration what we're reading. Okay, now going back to the dragon that is being spoken about here, when you look into this word dragon, it goes back to the Greek word DRACO, as you see here. Dragon, the Greek word is DRACON. It says a dragon, a great serpent, a name for Satan. Now, spiritually, this is going into Esau's draconian legislation, which goes back to this individual, Draco, the lawgiver. Okay, let's read up on him. It says Draco, also called Draco or Dracon, was the first recorded legislator of Athens in ancient Greece. He replaced the prevailing system of oral law and blood feud by the draconian constitution, a written code to be enforced only by a court of law. Draco was the first democratic legislator requested by the Athenian citizens to be a lawgiver for the city-state, but the citizens had not expected that Draco would establish laws characterized by their harshness. And that's pretty much what draconian means. Okay? It means to be harsh, it means to be severe. And this individual, Dracon or Draco, was pretty much known for giving out the most severest or harsh decrees for the least of crimes. Okay? And America's no different. All right, America's no different. And I've got proof regarding that. I'll bring that out in a minute. But anyway, this is what it says concerning draconian constitution. Okay, yeah. So let's read down here. It says the laws were particularly harsh. For example, any debtor whose status was lower than that of his creditor was forced into slavery. The punishment was more lenient for those owing a debt to a member of lower class. The death penalty was the punishment for even minor offenses such as stealing a cabbage. And like I said, America is no different. Now, let me prove that to you. This is a page from deathpenaltyinfo.org. Okay. Early history of the death penalty. The death penalty in America. Britain influenced America's use of the death penalty more than any other country. When European settlers came to the New World, they brought the practice of capital punishment. The first recorded execution in the new colonies was that of Captain George Kendall in the Jamestown colony of Virginia in 1608. Kendall was executed for being a spy for Spain. In 1612, Virginia Governor Sir Thomas Dale enacted the divine, moral, and martial laws, which provided the death penalty for even minor offenses such as stealing grapes and killing chickens and trading with Indians. Okay, so there you have it. America is definitely the revival of the ancient Greco-Roman Empire. Okay, and this is pretty much what the Apostle John saw in his vision. This is exactly what he saw in his vision, as a matter of fact. You know, because if we read from verse 1, this is Revelation 13 and verse 1, it says, "And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy." And this is all symbolic for Esau's ancient Roman Empire. Okay, the 7 heads are 7 principal countries that, you know, pretty much made up the ancient Roman Empire, such as, let's see now, you had Great Britain, that was one. You had Greece, you had Germania Minor, Germania Major, you had France, Italy, and you had Spain, okay, if I'm not mistaken. And the 10 horns also are, you know, particular countries out there in Europe that made up the ancient Roman Empire that have been revived today, you know, in the form of the European Union. You know, and as a matter of fact, if you look into the inception of the European Union, the EU, if you will, there were 10 principal countries that, kicked it off. If I'm not mistaken, that was, let's see now, I believe it was France, Italy, Netherlands, Belgium, Luxembourg, West Germany, Denmark, United Kingdom, Greece, and Spain, if I'm not mistaken. All right. So, those were the countries that pretty much made up the ancient Roman Empire. Anyway, verse 2 says, "And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard." The leopard, takes us back to who? Alexander the Greek and his Greek Empire, which included the likes of DRACO, DRACO of Athens, Greece, which was the beginning of Esau's rulership on the earth, if you will. Okay, you had the ancient Greeks, then you had the ancient Romans, which, those two kingdoms, if you will, have been revived today in the form of NATO, the EU, and America. Anyway, it says, "And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard." Again, that leopard taking us back to ancient Greece, starting with Alexander the Great. "And his feet were as the feet of a bear," because the bear, which is Russia, is going to be the end of Esau's kingdom in the time of World War III. "And his mouth as the mouth of a lion," the lion representing Great Britain, merry old England, if you will, but Great Britain as a whole. And that's why it says in the article, it speaks about how, let's read it again, "Britain influenced America's use of the death penalty." Yeah, because America pretty much came out of Great Britain. Okay. Anyway, "and his mouth as the mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death," going into Rome, because Rome fell. Let's not forget, ancient Rome fell. It says, "And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed." Yeah, his deadly wound was healed, when these Edomites came back into power, pretty much. And that's where you get the Treaty of Rome, or the Club of Rome. That's where you get the European Economic Community, the EEC, which turned into the European Union, the EU, along with the establishing of NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, being spearheaded by America, which is the revival of the ancient Greco-Roman Empire, okay? Especially over here in America, it says, "And all the world wondered after the beast." So, I just brought that out to give you a little bit more understanding on what we're seeing here, in the news and in these various different articles concerning the revival of Esau's ancient Greco-Roman draconian empire, okay? And so, it's important that we understand what's going on here, because it says, "Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times." And like I said in the beginning, we're coming to some very serious, horrific, and detrimental times, concerning Jacob's trouble. And pretty much what we're seeing here concerning this Idaho governor signing into law or bringing back firing squads, is just an inkling into the wrath that Esau is going to come with in the very near future concerning his new world order, all right, pursuant to Revelation 12 and verse 12. So anyway, I pray and hope that you brothers and sisters out there were edified, and Lord willing, I'll catch you in another lesson. Shalom.